Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into some ancient Buddhist texts to meet a king of the gods whose greatest strengths, well, they weren't at all what you'd expect. We're talking about a celestial ruler whose power actually came from diligence, patience, and even humility.
All right, so let's meet Sakka. He's the ruler of the Tavatams of heaven, and his realm, it's pretty much locked in a constant war with the Asuras, these jealous demigods who are always, and I mean always, fighting to reclaim the heavenly kingdom they feel is rightfully theirs. But it's right in the middle of all this celestial conflict that Sakka reveals three really surprising virtues that truly define his leadership. And the first one, an incredible work ethic. So picture this. The alarms are blaring. The enemy is literally at the gates. Sakka gives the order to his general, Suvira, to go and push back the Asuras. But Suvira, he just doesn't. 3 times Sakka gives the order, and 3 times Suvira puts it off, wanting all the glory and the rewards without doing any of the actual work. Sakka's response here is just brilliant, delivered with some wonderful, divine sarcasm. He's making the point that a place of effortless reward, it just doesn't exist. He's basically saying, hey, if you find that place, you gotta take me with you, because that must be enlightenment itself. The message is so powerful. Even a god who is enjoying the fruits of his past good deeds knows that diligence and effort are absolutely essential. So Sakka's work ethic is impressive, for sure. But how he deals with his enemies, face to face, well, that reveals his next great quality, this incredible patience. In one of these battles, the gods come out on top, and they capture the Asura king himself, the Pachiti. He's brought in chains to the divine hall, and the moment Sakka walks in, the Pachiti just lets loose this torrent of insults and foul language. And Sakka's charioteer, Mettā, is just standing there, completely stunned by his master's total silence in the face of all this disrespect. Mettā just can't wrap his head around it. He asks him, "My lord, are you putting up with this because you're scared, or are you weak?" He tells Sakka to stop the fool with a strong rod. A pretty conventional worldly view of how power works. But Sakka's response is just so profound. On the slide here, you can see his words in the original Pali. He explains his patience has nothing to do with fear or weakness. Instead, he asks, how could a wise person possibly get into a fight with a fool? He's saying that real strength lies in refusing to be dragged down to your opponent's level. And this chart just illustrates the clash of their philosophies perfectly. Vipachiti argues that patience looks like weakness, that it just invites more aggression. But Sakka's view is that not retaliating is the only way you can win that unwinnable battle against someone who is just consumed by rage. For him, power isn't our external force, it's about internal control. Now, this whole idea of internal control leads us straight to Sakka's third virtue. And honestly, it's probably the one you least expect from a celestial king: profound humility. So the story goes that Mettā sees his king, the ruler of an entire heavenly realm, mind you, stop his chariot and bow down with his hands pressed together. Mettā is completely baffled. I mean, gods, humans, everyone pays respect to Sakka. Who in the world could possibly be worthy of his respect? Sakka's answer is such a powerful lesson in what he actually values. He explains that he doesn't bow to power or status, he bows to moral virtue. He respects monks and ascetics who are dedicated to the holy life, and also just ordinary, righteous people who ethically support their families. And above all, he pays homage to the Buddha and his enlightened community. So this is the crucial question, right? Where did all of this come from? I mean, these virtues of diligence, patience, humility, they seem almost ungodly. Was Sakka just born this way? Well, the answer to that is the key to his entire story. The texts actually reveal this amazing backstory. Sakka wasn't always a god. He wasn't born into his power. He was once a human being, a young man by the name of Magga. So how did he make that incredible leap from human to divine king? He achieved his celestial status by taking on and perfecting these 7 vows as a man. Just take a look at them. Supporting your parents, respecting elders, speaking gently and truthfully, being generous, staying free from anger. This is the core lesson right here. His divine power isn't some kind of magic. It was earned by cultivating basic human goodness.
Okay, so with all this virtue, you might be thinking Sakka is the ultimate role model, right? Well, not quite. The Buddha actually uses Sakka's own story to teach an even deeper lesson about what true refuge is.
So the Buddha tells his monks a story. In battle, Sakka told his divine army that if they ever felt fear, all they had to do was look at his banner, and they'd be safe. But the Buddha points out a really critical flaw in that plan. See, here's a problem. Sakka himself is not fully free. He's virtuous, absolutely, but he isn't fully enlightened. He's still subject to the roots of suffering, greed, hatred, and delusion. And that means that even he can experience fear and the impulse to run away. His protection isn't absolute. The Buddha then offers the true refuge. And again, you can see his words right here in Pali. He says that he, the fully enlightened one, is completely free from greed, hatred, and delusion. And because of that, he is truly fearless and will never, ever flee. The ultimate safety, he teaches, isn't found in a powerful God, but in the state of full enlightenment itself.
So, after exploring all these ancient stories, what is the big takeaway from the life of Sakka, the king of the gods? Really, the stories of Sakka offer this radical redefinition of power. They show us that true leadership is built on things like diligence, patience, and humility. Divinity, in this context, isn't a birthright. It's the result of ethical human actions that really anyone can practice. In the end, Sakka's greatest strength isn't a thunderbolt. It's the mastery of his own mind.
And so Sakka's journey from just an ordinary man to a divine king leaves us with a really powerful question. It suggests that while ruling a heavenly realm is pretty impressive, the path to mastering yourself is the most powerful and maybe the most divine journey of all.